can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Weisz.
Dr. Jeremy Weisz here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders. Today is no different. I have Orit Oz of OzGlobalB2B.com. And Orit, before I formally introduce you, I always like to point out other episodes people should check out of the podcast. This is part of my top agency series, but also my top Israel business leader series. So there's a couple of top agencies I've had. Kevin Hurrigan started his agency. You'll relate to this, Orit. Back in, I think, 1995, he had an agency, right? And so Orit has been doing this. I'm not going to age you for several decades as well. And he talked about the evolution of the landscape and everything else. So that was an interesting one with Kevin Hurrigan of Spinyatech. On the Israel business leader side, I had Weisz Navon of Mobileyon, and he talked about how Mobileye's journey of getting acquired by Intel for $15.3 billion. But what kind of struck me with that conversation, Orit, was that he had to go back to his family at certain points and tell them, we can't eat out anymore. We can't do the niceties anymore because there's ups and downs. And there's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made. So that was interesting. Also, a fellow EO Israel member, Nir Zavaro, we talked about his book, Fuck the Slides. So I guess I'll swear on this because that's the name of his book. But and we talked about some of those, how he came to create that book and some of the lessons. Also, EO Israel member Amit Astrecher of Extras and Genie, and how he lost all of his customers overnight, not once, but twice, and what he did. So check those out and many more on InspiredInsider.com. And this episode is brought to you by Rise 25. At Rise 25, we help businesses give to and connect to their Dream 100 relationships. And how do we do that? We actually help you run your podcast. We're an easy button for a company to launch and run a podcast. And we do the strategy, the accountability, and the full execution. We are kind of the magic elves that work in the background to make it look easy for the host and the company so they can develop great relationships, create great content, and we do everything else. For me, I'm always looking at ways to give to my relationships. And over the past decade, I found no better way than to profile the people and companies I most admire and share with the world what they're working on. So if you've thought about podcasting, you should. If you have questions, you can go to rise25.com to learn more. And I'm excited to introduce Orit Oz. She is founder of Oz Global B2B. And she established Oz back in 1996 and transformed the company from a design studio into a leading full-service global B2B agency. And Orit, like I was saying before, for the past few decades, Oz has been instrumental in promoting Israeli industry in the global marketplace, but they work beyond Israel as well. And they work closely with customers to really create world-class brands across multiple sectors. And they cover the entire spectrum of B2B services from strategy to implementation. They're even a certified HubSpot partner. So they offer a comprehensive inbound marketing and marketing automation services as well. So Orit, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me here.
Start off and just tell people a little bit about Oz Global B2B and what you do.
So your introduction was really good. And we, as you said, we are a company that operates with companies that have a technological product and sell it in the world. We work with a wide range of companies, and we help them from the brand strategy through creating the identity, the visual identity, creating all marketing materials that they will need in order to sell around the world, and helping them also with the digital marketing. So this is what's happening today. We didn't start from there. We started from actually creating marketing materials, marketing communication, and really helping Israeli companies sell their product in the world.
We'll walk through some examples and how that works, because I think it's instructive of any company going global. Like you're forced, obviously, when you live in a small country, to go global, because there's the market. You can't just serve only the market in Israel if you want to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So You help some of these companies. They could be anywhere, but starting in Israel and go global. What's the best example to start with of going from Israel and going global?
So first of all, as you said, Israel is a very, very small country. And so I think in general, we have a global mindset because the Israeli market is too small for these products. Any startup, any company that starts in Israel always understands that their potential will be in the global market. That's I think one thing. The second thing is because our expertise is business to business. That means that really the products that we help companies sell, or they are usually in verticals that Israel is very good in. We have a lot of companies from water technologies, filtration companies, companies that do smart irrigation, all the agri-tech companies like that. So in general, we look at the Israeli market as like the better side. From the day that the product is ready, we will be looking in the global market. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen over the years is, speaking to agencies in Germany or in the US, they really know their market. But we, from the minute we started, our understanding is the global mindset. I think that is something that's interesting. We have quite a few companies that have medical device, which is also a field that Israel is very strong in. All different kinds of monitors and very, very technological products that will, like a motion controller that will sit inside one of HP's printers or things like that. So very, very technological products. It's a specific way of marketing. The people that you market to are professional people. That's sort of what we do for our day-to-day.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about, I know that your company has gone through different evolutions throughout its lifetime. But you mentioned the water filtration and water technology. One of those is, I think it's Medtronics, right?
So Medtronics is actually a really, really great company. They are the company that invented the robots that clean the swimming pools. So they're not from the agriculture side, but they are from cleaning water. And they focused from the day they started on cleaning swimming pools. Over 50% of the market, the world market, which in general is something that I always feel that is so unbelievable. We have so many companies that in their niche, in their place, they are really market leaders. They could be number 2, number 3 in the world. But I think that's something that happens a lot in Israel, that you come out with very, very good product. Many years ago, a lot of the companies we work with have been around many years. Medtronics, I think, just had 40-year anniversary. So Medtronics, it's a great example. They produce robots that clean swimming pools, but as they sell in the world, they sell through partners. So if you think about, we started working with them about 15 years ago. So all their marketing was through the partners, through distributors. It's something that's very happens a lot.
If you're watching, if you're listening, there is a video here, and we're at ozglobalb2b.com right here. But you could see here is what we're talking about. Is this the right one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see the case study in our website. So I think what I really like about the Medtronics story is we started working with Medtronics after they acquired a company in France. And the project was actually branding the acquisition of the two companies, and they expanded their proposition. And it was the first time, I think, that a technical company like them, really understood power of the brand as being something that can connect employees and connect employees from all around the world, and also become a very, very strong brand outside. So we work a lot if we, to talk about what we do. When we build the brand strategy, the brand promise is actually the tool that will connect all the employees to why we get up in the morning, what we want to do. In Matronics, it was two simple words: exceptional experience. And I think that those two words of exceptional experience has been since really something that with the values of the company and with the promise, been something that really drove the company forward. The company has grown, is now in the Tel Aviv exchange, stock exchange, and one of the 15 biggest companies in Israel. They grew very much. Over the years, we created all their marketing materials, and now as they've grown, they've brought in the services in-house because they're already very, very big, and we just help them with things that they need. But we're really the ones there to create with them the brand, and something that
talk about some of those things, Orit, that you did do with them. The evolution of, okay, you started with, like you said, the brand, but what are some other things you had to do? Because I think it'd be instructive for anyone. Okay, here's what they did, and there may be other companies that want to go more global, even if they're in the U.S. and they want to go outside the U.S. Right? Obviously, there's a big market in the U.S., so some people aren't even thinking about going global, but there's obviously that expands the market there. So what are some of the things you did? What did they want initially when they first came to you?
So I think the big question was how a company that started in Israel in a kibbutz and is growing and is becoming global, how do we keep the spirit, and what made the success when we become global, we become big? Because in the end, it's okay when you have all Israelis, they all get it, they understand the culture. Now you have employees in France, and you have employees in Germany, and you have employees in the US, and how do you connect them all together to one brand? So that was, I think, that was the point where they understood that we need to have something that will connect everyone. The project we did was a global project. We did it with the global management, and actually after creating the brand promise and after creating the values, there was like a roadshow going from country to country. We gave them the tools, and the management went from country to country and did workshops, and that we helped them with it. And actually, bringing so that everyone, if you're an employee in Matronics, you all have the same language. One of the points where we knew we succeeded was when the manager of Matronics Australia phoned up the manager in Israel and said, listen, one of my employees came to me and said, listen, we have to change something we're doing. It's what we're doing here isn't an exceptional experience. It's really bad. We have to change it. And we said, okay, that's what we wanted. We wanted that everywhere where you are in the world, you understand that if you're a Matronics worker and if you producing Matronics products, it will be an exceptional experience. Now, what you're showing here is what I've been talking quite a lot about, the internal, but at the same time we have the brand. We want all the marketing materials all around the world to look the same. And later on, when we talk about digital marketing, we can talk about the challenge of building a global brand when, in social media, each country is very, very different. And that's something that we'll talk about later, because it really connects us to how the marketing is evolving and the challenges it brings. But that when we did Matronics, there were trade shows, there were shops where there were you saw the things, and you saw the things, and everything was the same, looked the same. We used to create the materials and distribute them all around the world, and building really a strong brand. So you can see in the website.
Reed, just describe what we're looking at, because people may be just listening, and also what did it look like before? Right now, describe what we're seeing here and with the branding, and then what was it like before this?
So first of all, what you're showing here is a wide range of marketing materials. We can see an exhibition booth. So if you think that whenever there's a trade show anywhere in the world, it always will look the same. The internet, packaging, so everything, icons explaining. It's one of the things that I think are interesting with this is a product in the end gets to the house, it gets to the consumer, but it's still a very technological product. So usually the person that will recommend it is a professional person. So that's now about the question how it looks. One of the things was that the product is called Dolphin. And for many years in the world, it was known as Dolphin. It's still known as Dolphin by Medtronics. But part of what we did in the brand strategy is really giving it the Medtronics umbrella, because in order to enable more product lines to come in. Over those 15 years, we've done, I think, about 3 rebranding each time, updating the look and feel, making it more up to date, more connected to the new products, because they come up with new products all the time. And so the what we do always connects to the business strategy of the company. So if Medtronics at the beginning had a premium product, and later on they decided they're gonna widen it to you have now. A lot of people have a swimming pool in the garden that's they bought an Intex or whatever swimming pool, so they develop products that will work for there as well. So our work is always to support with the marketing materials and with the messaging to support the company's strategy.
So let's talk about, I could see how you want the brand strategy and the look and the feel to be universal. So wherever you are, people will actually recognize it. The second part is also the digital marketing. What were some of the things you did on the digital marketing side? Because I'm looking at this and it says, digital marketing 360, SEO, HubSpot, webinars, smart content. What were some of the things you did on the digital marketing side?
So actually, I think the digital marketing takes us a bit fast forward. So perhaps I'll change the example if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Well, perhaps first of all, I can say a few words about how Oz evolved into digital marketing. 10 years ago, we didn't have the technology we have today. So in the last about 7 years, we've added more and more capabilities in the company. Today, about half of our activity in Oz is digital marketing. We have here a team that can really be extension of a marketing department for our clients. I said before that Medtronics has really, really grown. They have a lot of the capabilities in-house. So the example I want to give is perhaps a different example of a company that doesn't have a very, very big marketing department. They have perhaps a marketing manager, CMO, and perhaps a marketing communications or digital marketing manager. And now, in order to do a really effective marketing activities around the world, you need about 5 or 6 different people, each one with a different expertise. You need someone to write the content, and you need someone to do the strategy, and you need someone to do the SEO and the PPC and the inbound and HubSpot, and a lot of I think the digital marketing has a lot of expertise in it. So the place that we bring value is companies that don't have the ability to bring in all these people. That's why we call ourselves your marketing partner. We become their partner, and we become an extension of their company, of their marketing agency. If you could see, there's a company, perhaps a good example is Tefen. You can see here. Tefen is, if we were talking about water technologies, they're a company that sell in the agriculture market, and there we operate as an extension of their marketing department, really building up their. We gave the whole package here, so we started building their brand strategy and updating their look and feel. But in the digital marketing, as you can see, it says here digital marketing in 360 degrees, which means we are like their team. So we build a yearly plan, we build the content strategy, and we have people here that are like the digital marketing managers, helping them or doing the activities for the company. If they have a trade show now, so a month and a half before, we'll start promoting the trade show and doing sponsored campaigns. And so it's really, I think talking about it, I can say that one of the biggest advantages of Oz today is the combination between the branding capabilities and the messaging to the digital marketing. And we see out, a lot of competition. There are either branding agencies or digital marketing agencies. There aren't many companies that have both capabilities combined very, very strongly. And it brings a big advantage because we see the whole picture. So after we've created the brand, we know exactly what their value proposition is, what the messaging is, and we start breaking it down and sort of. If we know they have a trade show now, we will design the booth, but we'll also do the marketing materials, the company. So that's a good example of a smaller company or medium-sized company in Israel that we can really give them the whole package. I wanted to go back to your question and give an example because you talked about the global challenge. So I want to give a completely different example. With a bigger company called Stratasys. Stratasys is a world leader in 3D printers.
Can I ask you a quick question, Orit? We'll talk about Stratasys in a second. I just have a question about this one. One is why does Israel have so many more innovations around, the water filtration and in that space, irrigation?
I think the answer is very simple. More than half of Israel is a desert. Israelis, in general, all the notion of startup nation comes from, I think, our culture that when you have a problem, you have to solve the problem. So many years ago, when we have a small country and half of the country is desert, the question was, okay, how do we grow agriculture in the desert? And from there were then all the drip irrigations, and a lot of innovations came out. Also, all the need for I don't know if you know, but Israel has today, I hope I'm not in between 70 or 90% of the water in Israel is water that's is desalination water, so water from the sea that has been. So and a lot of the innovation in Israel comes out from the problems we have. So agriculture today, there's no problem water in Israel because we have all these desalination plants. And in general, I think that's true for a lot of things that happen in Israel. Water technologies and agri-tech are, one of the leading innovations. And you look at our customers, you sort of get the range of what Israel really is strong in, or, what are there. And you can see, yes, they're in the industry. So, you have
agriculture here, you have water treatment, tech, medical, automotive, high tech, and manufacturing, B2B to C too.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to ask about that, and then the second on this one, Orit, is webinars. What kind of stuff and work do you do around with webinars for companies?
Okay, so one of the biggest challenges is to try and bring in bring in leads to the company. You want to make the exposure as big as possible, bring the awareness as big as possible. We found. It started in the COVID. That perhaps I'll go back a step before. One of the tools that a lot of technological companies have is seminars. So what did they used to do? They used to bring over 15, 20 engineers for 5 days, give them a very interesting seminar, take them around as well to see Israel, to learn about what's happening here, and that was one of the main marketing tools. When the COVID started, everything stopped. And really, I think in 2 or 3 weeks, we came and offered them to do, instead of those seminars, we said, let's create webinars and do webinars. And really, we did a very, very fast shift. And what was unbelievable is instead of 15, 20 engineers coming over, suddenly we had 300 people all around the world listening to the webinar. Now, a webinar is when you create a webinar, you have to bring value to the people. So first of all, the people that come on the webinar are really, really they're the right fit. They're usually really good leads, potential customers. And also one of the great things about the webinar is that it's a very, very strong marketing tool before, during, and after. So before you put up, you promote it around on the social media, in email marketing, all
there's a lot of awareness
channels
there
that we have, yes. And then people start registering. So even if in the end the statistics say that about 50% of the people that register will attend, it's okay for us, because when we do the webinar, we record it, and now we have content that we can distribute, and we have really, really good leads that you can lead nurture, and you can send them materials, and you have questions. That we found that the webinar is, I think, one of the most powerful marketing tools. The only thing that you need is really good content, and as long as you have good content, you can really, really leverage it to great things. And then afterwards, you keep it online. People can download it. People can listen to it afterwards. So I would say that webinar is one of our, you have a lot of different tools. So the webinar is one of the strongest tools. But in the end, when we build a marketing strategy for a customer, online marketing strategy, what we try and look at the year and sort of have places where, either it's a trade show or it's a webinar or it's a conference, sort of the anchors, and then we will create the marketing materials around that. And
we'll talk about, we are mentioning, Orit, around the 3 phases, kind of the evolution of your company. You kind of, went from graphic studio to branding to digital and doing all digital stuff. We'll go back to kind of the inception, where it came from, the kind of the graphic side, kind of from the graphic to the branding. It seems that the Matronics, and then we go from branding to digital, which is the Stratasys. So talk about some of the stuff that you did, because it's interesting to see from a digital agency perspective, the evolution that any agency goes. Sometimes I found they've decreased their services and they started one, and then some have grown because of the need of their clients or demanding of them these things. What kind of work did you do with Stratasys?
So first of all, I just want a small correction from our perception. We moved from being a branding agency to a marketing agency. Today in the marketing, a lot of the marketing activities is online, is digital marketing, but not only. And I think that's part of the understanding that you want to combine online and offline. So I think first of all, talk about the evolution of the company of Oz. It's from supporting the marketing activities to really being part of the marketing activities. Now, I told quite a long story about Tefin. It's a medium-sized company. Stratasys is a very, very big company, a global company. They have, I think they're one of the 2 biggest companies for 3D printing. And the big challenge that we found there was, first of all, I'll say a few words about Stratasys. They produce 3D printers, but they produce 3D printers for automotive and also for medical and for dentists and for aerospace. So you have so many different verticals. It's a big challenge. So that's one challenge, many verticals, many different target audiences. And the second challenge is that after all those things we did also, you want to do globally. So you want to do it in France and in Germany and in the US and in Asia and wherever it is. And what happens a lot of times is that if they're in one country, they're in the marketing department of, let's say, Stratasys in France, there's someone that knows digital marketing. So they start working and doing, posting online and doing things online. What we understood is that the big challenge on social media is that you want to build a strong brand, which means you want your brand to look the same all around the world. if you think of Coca-Cola, there's no question Coca-Cola looks the same all around the world, but they do, even Coca-Cola has their sort of adaptations, the local adaptations. So the what we did here, one of the projects that we did was to create social media strategy, the global social media strategy for Stratasys, and to build the guidelines so that we built a guideline that talks about what you talk about, what are the values. It's a very, very big project, so I won't be able to talk about it all. But in the end, the outcome was a very, very big manual that explains all around the world how they should work on the different social media platforms. So how they need to work in LinkedIn, how on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever they're doing. Also giving guidelines, but also understanding that each country will have their own adaptations, and each business unit will come out with their content. So the content is created from all around the world. So you have sort of, if you can think of it as something that starts from the headquarters down, but also from the business units up. So and I think the output, and it's a project that is evolving all the time. It's not something, digital marketing isn't something that's stopped, but it really sort of made sort of some kind of made it unified, if you can say. What we're seeing here is like the templates for webinars, templates for if you're showing a use case, templates for different things that they can use, and these are now all around the world, and they're working with them.
It seems, it seems very complicated, because it would be complicated if it was just dental, even, right? But now, like, if you're looking at the screen, we could see, some of these 3D printing, there's a bunch of dental examples. Okay, it's still a pretty complicated project because it's global and it's got to have, like you said, all the guidelines. But now you add, dental, you add healthcare, you add all these other, use cases. Where do you start with getting everyone on the same page, even though there's different uses and products?
So just to clarify about the project that you were looking at the dental. The dental actually was a strategic project, and it was to brand dental division under Stratasys. Okay, so I think that's a good example. When you work with very, very big companies, then you have these projects that strategic projects. So what is the value proposition of the Stratasys products for the dental market? That was a strategic project, and there are a lot of those going on. But what we were talking about before is, and you're right, it's really, really complicated, is really building some kind of guideline that on one side is makes it clear to everyone what the tone of voice is going to be, what different kinds of content can we create, how do we post on different platforms. But on the other side, to give them the freedom to really create their own content, because we want the content, if you have a perhaps key opinion leader that's someone that works with their printer somewhere, and you want them to publish content, we want that to happen as well. We don't want it all to be corporate, but so it's a very delicate sort of balance between creating guidelines so that when people see content from Stratasys all around the world, they say, this is Stratasys. On the other hand, give the freedom to really keep and yes, it's a complicated project, and also I think it's a project that evolves. I think everyone's learning, learning this idea of how do I really create. Now I have social media, and I have so many different sources of content coming out. how do I really strengthen the brand? And it's something that I can say that it's a big challenge. We see it with a lot of our customers. Not all the companies, their customers are online so much. So that's also, something to understand. Their countries, or there are verticals where there's a big question about, are farmers online or not online? How do I catch them? They have their mobile phone. So yes, it's. I think the B2B in general is complicated, but very fascinating and interesting.
Reed, how did you get started? Talk about the transition from employee to founder.
You're taking me back 30 years back from the beginning of the story. Actually, I started my career in a company called Iskar. Iskar is well known in Israel. I think it was maybe quite well known as an industrial company that Warren Buffett acquired about, I think, 7-8 years ago. He still defines it as the best company he ever acquired. It's a company that manufactures. First of all, they develop and manufacture cutting tools for the metal industry, leading in the world. They were acquired for over $4.5 billion, I think, if I remember right, quite many years ago. Before today, it's already become the multiples have grown. But anyway, very, very good company, and it was my I would say my school for marketing. I worked there in the marketing department as a marketing communications manager there, and was in charge with the team for all the marketing communications of Iskar in the world. So that was, you can understand, was sort of, I would say, opened my path to my career. I worked there for 5 years. I loved every minute of it. It was a company that had great budgets for marketing. They really, really believed in marketing, which is something that's a lot of times very challenging in industrial companies. A lot of times we have to persuade industrial companies they really need to invest in marketing. They are much more into sales. So Iskar really put in a lot. The marketing was really the center of the company. And after 5 years of really doing from catalogs to multimedia to designing the website, when it was really, I think, one of the first websites, industrial, business websites in Israel, and doing great things. I just, many times I've been asked about this. I felt I need to go. I want to do something independently. And it's strange. It's something I thought about a lot since, because I've been asked about it. Why do you leave a really great job? I was really successful and I really liked it, to start something by yourself. And I don't have the answer. I just think I felt that I want to do something for myself. I'm a very, very optimistic person, and a person that sees opportunities everywhere. So it seemed to me that, okay, I'm gonna, buy a Macintosh, and I was a designer. So, start designing for companies that want my work. What happened was that the expertise that I came out with, and the fact that I'm located in the north, which we didn't talk about, it's a bit unusual. I don't live in Tel Aviv, where everything happens in Israel. I actually live in the Galilee. So the combination of those two things, I think, sort of brought to me companies like Iskar that were technical companies, and very quickly I started employing people and growing. And I think one of the advantages there was I understood, even though we were a graphic studio, we looked at the marketing materials through the marketing eyes. So we brought in something that I think was then an advantage, and the company grew very quickly. And after probably a year or two, when I was finding myself designing at 2:00 in the morning, I understood I have to stop designing and and since then I've been, I see myself more as a marketeer and, strategy and managing the company. I think the lessons I've learned from growing the company is probably a podcast by itself, so we won't go into it, but it's really...
What's one of those lessons?
The biggest lesson took me quite a few years is to really trust people, bring in people that know to do things better than you do in their profession, and changing your job. My job today isn't doing the work, it's actually mentoring people, actually, being really more a mentor, more growing the people in my team, growing my managers that grow their teams. And it was something that took me... I mean, it's not easy to sort of go back, give the responsibility 100% to the people that are under you. In my journey, I had nearly 10 years that I wasn't the CEO of my own company. I brought in the CEO, someone that grew up. So that was a big lesson of really giving her the space and the responsibility of really managing the company while I sort of went aside. I think it's understanding that, we may do things we're maybe very good at things, but we make mistakes as well, like employees and that, and just to have the sort of to really have the understanding that if you bring in really, really good people, a really good team, you can go... I have to say in that aspect that I understood a few years ago that digital marketing will never be my mother tongue. It was, I talk about it as my second language, and I understood it when my oldest son, that's a digital marketer, and he works in a technology company. When we talked together, and I really understood that I will never understand digital marketing like he was born into it. So it's his mother tongue, and it's my second language. And I think that's an understanding as well, that we bring a lot of experience, we bring, but in the end, with all this technology and the world changing, I think it's really important to bring the people that can really.
Yeah, so you obviously have hired team members that's their strength. I'm wondering, when you brought in a CEO, what did your role look like at that point?
So first of all, for about 2 years, I just went back. I needed it was after 17 years of managing a company. I just needed to get out of the everyday and sort of bring my life back to myself, I think, in a way. And what happened from that experience is that when I came back to manage the company 2.5 years ago, there was already the company was much more organized, because me as an entrepreneur, I'm very I see opportunities all the time, and what's the next thing and that. So first of all, my main role in those years were bringing the next thing, bringing in the next strategic project, bringing in the next trend, understanding being an entrepreneur, everyone talks about, you have the visionary and the
Integrator, yeah.
The integrator. I'm a terrible integrator. Everyone always says that. It's really, really terrible. And understanding that, is a big understanding. So I love being in the more business development place. That's what I did most of the time when I had a CEO. Coming back, I came back. I actually said it's the first time I'm really a CEO, because I started the company. I was in everything. I wasn't really a CEO. I was marketing manager. I was account manager. I was, after coming back to the CEO chair, I came back much more mature, much more, I think, ready, and to a company that already had management. And today, I really see my role, as I said before, as bringing as sort of managing the company, helping the team, grow the business. I still seeing what's the next thing that we need, what's the next challenge, how do we go forward all the time. That's.
I want to talk about mentors that have helped along the way. But talk about how has EO impacted you?
First of all, in general, talking about mentors, any junction I had in my career, I always had someone in front next to me. I never did it by myself. Whenever I had, had a sort of jump to the next thing, I really, really believe in finding the right people in the right stages and learning from people that have done it. So that's in general. I joined EO 2.5 years ago. And the first thing I understood was I was so sorry I didn't join earlier. Really, really, I joined EO in quite a challenging time. It was just before I came back to manage the company. And first of all, when you meet in the forum or in the chapter, you understand how most of the people around us in our everyday are employees. They aren't business owners. And I have really, really good friends that were CEOs of really big companies, hundreds of millions of dollars and that. But in the end, it's not their company. And when you meet people in EO, you understand there's some kind of energy and also the safe zone that you're in, understanding that, whenever you meet someone from EO, you can sit, you never met them before, you'll sit after a quarter of an hour, you can, open up your heart and say everything. And I think that those are things that really, really, really have helped me. We're now, as we're recording this, we're in a very, very challenging time in Israel. A month into the war and all the terrible things that we've passed, and the support that we've got from EO around the world, it's really, there were days where I felt that they sort of pushed me, to continue and to go forward, and really so it's from one side, it's the support, from the other side, really to speak with people that have already been there, have done it, have been down, been up. The value that I get from the forum is that whoever I can recommend to join EO as a young entrepreneur, a young founder, I do. I think it's really, really a great organization.
I want to, if people don't know what EO is, it's called Entrepreneurs Organization. I think there's over, 14,000 people in over 60 countries. So it's a global organization. It's where people get together and share what they're working on, challenges, struggles, and have a group to support that. So the other question, obviously you mentioned this, how has the war affected your company?
Explaining what's happening here is something that perhaps, I understand that people don't really understand the reality we live in. 4.5 weeks ago, with all the terrible things that happened here, first of all, Israel is a very small country. They say you reach any person with 3 connections. So you can understand that there isn't anyone here in Israel that doesn't know someone that was killed or that's been kidnapped or that's missing. First of all, emotionally, it's very, very big. It's very, very difficult time, and it still is. But then, just to talk about what's happening in the everyday. So there's 350,000 men and women that's being called up to the army. One of my sons, a month ago, he's an engineer in a startup company, put on his uniform, left his wife, and since he's in the north of Israel training. Hopefully he won't need to fight, but 350,000 people, men and women, have stopped their life and are now in the army. Then for 3 weeks, there were no schools. So my team, I didn't say, but out of the 30 people in my team, I have 25 women, lots of them young women with young children at home. So 3 weeks at home with the children, but still continuing to work. While they're making sure that the children are okay. Luckily, they've gone back to school and back to kindergarten. So that's made it easier. But after saying that, think of a lot of places in Israel, 2-3 times a day, you have a siren, there are rockets coming over, you have to run into the bomb shelter. And after saying all that, we continue to work, we continue to deliver. We have our customers have customers all around the world. We know the world is continuing to work. And under all those challenging situations, we continue to work. I think the biggest impact it's had on us is that everything has slowed down. So for me, my main focus today is to retain my team and to try and bring in work from outside of Israel. As we were saying, most of our clients are headquartered in Israel with global operations, but we do have customers from outside Israel. And the understanding that if we succeed to bring in, if there are more companies that really can value from our expertise, from our experience, and bring in projects from outside of Israel, that would be that's the main thing I'm now focusing on, in trying to bring in work so that we can, we talk about continue to the Israel economy needs to continue to run. That's part of our strength here. We can't just stop the economy. So from us, we get up in the morning in order to do that, to continue to run the Israeli economy and to really serve our customers, and hopefully to bring our expertise and our experience to other companies in the world. So it's just an example of how from such a big challenge, I hope there'll be an opportunity here and really to do it. But it's been challenging times emotionally and what's going around. But even so, I think that we're strong people, and we don't have a choice, and we'll continue to succeed. Just to say as well that to see the impact it's had on the world is also very, very. It's really hard for us to see how Jewish people around the world have really been impacted from this, and it's not easy. But I think we're optimistic people, and we believe that we will continue and grow from this big crisis that there's been here.
Yeah, Rita, first of all, I hope your son and everyone else stays safe.
Thank you.
And on the global strategy, so anyone thinking of, okay, we need this global strategy, we need these guidelines to build because we're all over the map. Who are some of the ideal companies that you think of, maybe that aren't in Israel, that would be a good fit for your company?
So it's a great question, and I can give an example of quite a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. I got an email from a company called Axion, located in California, family-owned company that they are in water technologies. They manufacture very special membranes, it's called. So very, very micro filtration.
Like the membranes that are around membranes, yeah.
Membranes, I think you say, right? Is that the right one? It's for desalination and for very, very, very micro filtration. He sent us an email and said, I would like to have a meeting with you, and because I want to do a brand strategy project. And I said, wow. Hasn't got any connection to Israel, doesn't know. And I said, and when we met, I said to him, how did you hear about us? And he said, well, I'm following your main customer. That time it was Amiyad. Amiyad is one of the leading filtration companies. And he said, I'm so fed up of trying to explain to agencies around here about my industry that I thought, I'll see who does Amiyad's work, and our credit was on the website, and that's how he got to us. And we actually built his brand strategy, created all his marketing materials, implemented HubSpot there, did everything, and from there he continued with a local agency. But we built all his materials. So that's one example. So that example talks about really industries that we're really, really good in. But after saying that, any B2B company that operates globally or wants to operate globally, I think we can help in brand strategy. You can help in creating marketing materials. We have storytellers and designers here that do unbelievable presentations, investor presentations, marketing presentations, sell tools. So a lot of marketing materials that we create. And the examples that we talked about of like really creating a global strategy for social media, or doing a webinar, or anything that I think that the companies that are best fit are the B2B companies that operate globally, or like Action wanted to. He was operating in US and wanted to grow to global market. As I gave examples of medium size or big size, depends, the different size companies have different challenges or different needs that we can really help in.
Yep. Orit, first of all, I want to be the first one to thank you. Everyone should check out ozglobalb2b.com to learn more about what they're working on. And just thanks. I can't imagine going through what you and your surrounding family and friends are going through and still just pushing forward to just business, not necessarily business as usual, but from the companies you're working with, it's kind of business as usual. So thanks for sharing your lessons and your story, and we'll see everyone next time. So, Orit, thank you
very much. Thank you very much for having me here.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I'm feeling like 100 grand.